guys, it's Margie, and today I'm doing a movie review of the 1995 film How to Make an American Quilt. We've got quite the cast on this one, so let's get started. We've got Winona Ryder, Dermot Mulroney, Ellen Burstyn, Anne Bancroft, Kaylin Craddock, Kate Capshaw, Adam Baldwin, Maya Angelou, Alfre Woodard, Lois Smith, Claire Danes, Holland Taylor, Jared Leto, Richard Jenkins, Samantha Mathis, Lauren Dean, Jonathan Skate, Derek O'Connor, Rip Torn, Dennis Arndt, Kate Nelligan, and Gene Simmons. This movie was directed by Jocelyn Moorhouse, who also directed 1,000 Acres. Screenplay was by Jane Anderson, editing by Jill Bullock, cinematography by Janusz Kaminski, who is ridiculous. He's epic. And I probably just butchered his name. I'm so sorry. Music by Thomas Newman, who has also done the music for Skyfall, The Iron Lady, The Help, Wall-E. I mean, he scored everything, essentially. Producing was by Laurie McDonald, who also produced Catch Me If You Can, and Walter E. Parka, who also produced Men in Black, Flight, and The Terminal. Okay, guys, so the basic plot for this movie is Winona Ryder is engaged to this guy, but she's like confused or wandering or something, so she goes to her grandmother's for like a week or it's more than a week, I think. But anyway, she goes to her grandmother's for a good little while to finish a manuscript that she started that she has to finish for college. And she's planning to write about her grandmother and her grandmother's friends, so she goes out there for a while, and it's about the things that happened to her, and essentially her grandmother and her friends tell her their stories. So it's told, some of it's told in flashback about when they were young and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, kind of a, you can't really explain what it's about. See the trailer. Winona Ryder, she was okay in this movie. She did not blow me away. It could have been worse, but to me, she was too sweet, little, shy, sly, innocent, stupid, girlish. And I know that's, like, awful, but that's what I wrote down. She plays like this girl that's really wishy-washy, that has a really hard time with commitment and stuff like that, but she was just so stupid. You know what I'm saying? She just made the character just be so, like, not really annoying, but just like, man, you're so dumb. Like, I could not stand to be around you for 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, then the character that she's playing is like, over 20. So it's like, you shouldn't be this immature. I don't know, something. So I didn't really care for her performance. That's just me. I'm sorry, Winona Ryder fans. Dermot Mulroney, I thought he gave a really good performance. He didn't have really anywhere to go with this role, but there wasn't anything else he could have done more with it, so I thought he did great. All of these ladies that I mentioned that play the older women, I thought they had pretty good performances, but to me, it was very typical. There wasn't anything that really blew me away. Though it did blow me away was John Skake, or not really blow me away, but he stood out, who was also in That Thing You Do, which I've done a previous review of. I liked his performance, but he essentially eye candy. He plays, well, that's giving it away. If you've seen the movie, you know who he plays, blah, 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 watch the trailer, okay. I thought he did well, but again, there's not really anywhere to go for any of these people, bless their hearts, but I mean, I guess they had okay performances. None that really stood out and was like, hey, talk about me, I did awesome, but none that were like, hey, talk about me, I completely bombed. Okay. Anyway, guys, let's move on to directing. Let's just avoid that pit of despair. Jocelyn Moorhouse did the directing for this. I actually did not like the directing for this. I didn't. I thought it was so cookie cutter, and I don't know. The flashbacks I thought were a good concept, but they were done in a really cheesy kind of way to me. I don't know. The whole film was really cheesy, and essentially to me, the whole film is just like, hey, women, stand up for yourself and be your own person, which is a great message, but it's just another one of those classic women empowerment movies. You know, who needs men, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, I don't know. It just, I didn't really like the directing for this, honestly, because I thought he had an opportunity to make this a good film. I mean, I think the concept, there was some good things about the concept, but he went too over the top to me with the women independence theme. And that is what the movie is about, but, I mean, good grief, every scene should not, I don't know, it just, Okay, to me, a movie's, and this is like a little separate from the review, but to me, a movie's message should kind of sneak up behind you and tap you on the shoulder and be like, hey, think about this. You know, it shouldn't be like, this is the announcement. Women should be, like it shouldn't be flashed across the screen, in subtitles. I mean, I don't know. It just, to me, it was too blatant, and it just hits you over the head with, like, I don't know. It should have been more subtle and more soft to me, instead of just, hey, this is what the movie's about. But then when it's over, you're like, I don't really know. Well, that's in special notes. We're getting there. The screenplay, that has a lot to do with the screenplay, actually. Um, uh, I didn't really care for it, but the dialogue writing was not awful, but it essentially only just accomplished a purpose, which is to tell you what's going on in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of practical dialogue, and then there was a few speeches of, like, oh, blah, 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 this is what happened, and you're supposed to cry, but I didn't. I don't know. It just, I don't know, guys. What do you think of this? Let me know. Anyway, editing. I like the editing. I did, but it got too long for me. But I don't know what else you could have cut. I like the way he edited the flashbacks. I thought he gave just enough of them, but to me, there was too many flashbacks. I mean, do we have to go back in time for every single woman's story and all this kind of stuff? I don't know. The movie was too long, but there wasn't like a lot of obvious scenes to cut, so the director should have just been like, hey, we're Xing this character to shorten the entire film so the audience does not fall asleep or hate us for having it be too long. Cinematography was great. Is always great. My gosh, I'm totally drawing a blank. If I had a brain in my head, I could tell you every single thing the guy's done. I'll put everything right here, and when you see the list, you will be like, yeah, he's great. I like the cinematography for this a lot. I like the lighting. I like how it made the film feel, and it felt really earthy and natural, and I really like that about it. But so that was probably one of the better things as far as like the people that worked on the film. Just saying. Um, the music for this is beautiful. Now, I will say that. Oh my gosh, Thomas Newman does it right. I've actually not heard that many scores that he's done, so I'm trying to familiarize myself with his work. And I thought he did great. I loved the score for this. I thought it was very touching and it was appropriate and everything. I really liked the score for this a lot. Okay, guys, let's jump into the Parent's Guide for this one. This is not the best of movies in that department either. Okay, for the language. Language is not that bad, actually. No use of F word, 1 use of the B word, 4 uses of the S word, 3 uses of the D word, 1 use of GD, 1 use of A, and 2 uses of H. So not that awful. But, unfortunately, the sexual references category is another matter. The sexual content category, excuse me. There is several sexual references in this film. A married woman has an affair with another married man. There's quite a bit of cleavage. A woman is seen only in a bra. Passionate kissing, beginning of sexual scenes, and there is a woman seen totally nude with, like, a piece of cloth covering the areas that, would be explicit. Wine and like alcohol and drug and all that, there's smoking of a joint and there's drinking of wine. And there's a good bit of drinking of wine. So be aware of that, violence and gore. I can't really think of anything. I feel like there might have been like a couple, like a slap or something. I can't really remember, but I think it was in a flashback, but don't quote me on that. Okay, guys, let's get in the special notes here. Whew. The camera angles, and this is totally, you're not going to see this one coming. Are you ready for this? The camera angles make Jonathan Skake seem very, very tall. But in That Thing You Do, he seems like way shorter. So, and not short, but so much shorter. It's unbelievable. Like in this movie, if you've seen, which I've done a previous review of That Thing You Do, but if you've watched this movie, he seems like so tall, like 3, 4 to me. But then you watch the other movie and you're like, no, he's probably like 5'11". So I don't, who knows? I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of random. I told you would not be expecting that. Just that stuck out to me because I'd seen That Thing You Do. Okay, and I never comment really on like wardrobes, costumes, that kind of thing unless they're absolutely great. But there's a first for everything. Winona's wardrobe is awful. It is literally the worst I've ever, well, it's like one of the worst I've ever seen. All clothes are too big, they never match, and she looks so grungy and unkept throughout the entire film. It is so embarrassing. I mean, if I was her, I would have been like, I'm not wearing that in front of a camera. I'm sorry. She's wearing like these massive oversized tops, like a floral print top with like striped pants that just like, it's like, who did oh god, it was awful. And she's supposed to be like free spirit, funky, woo, but this is just awful. Like there's being like, I don't care what I wear because I'm in the country with my grandma, and there's like, oh my gosh, did you dress blindfolded? This is the second one. It's awful. That stuck out to me. It was so bad. Okay, the wears makeup and fixes hair after over half the movie is over. That stuck out to me too. Her hair is a complete mess. It looks like a rat's nest the entire movie. No makeup. And then for the last 30 minutes of the film, she finally puts on some lipstick and makeup. Which again, free spirit, blah blah blah, but you look awful. I mean, let's be honest. Can we put I don't know whose calls were these. I loved the cinematography. I loved the score. That was 2 special notes. Dermot Mulroney was great. Winona was too sweet, little girl, shy, innocent, stupid, girlish for me. That's the notes. I know it's all over the place, but I was having a really hard time describing it because it's just so woo. If you've seen the movie, you probably know, or maybe you thought it was great. Let me know in the comments, guys. My total summary is, essentially the whole movie is old women telling their sob stories to Winona. Yeah, that's what the movie's about. That's it in a nutshell. I'm sorry if I just ruined it for you, but you'll figure that out within the first 15 minutes, because it's just like they hit you over the head over and over with just feel sorry for me. I led a hard life. Blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, oh my gosh, this will never end. Plus, life is hard. It really is. But what are the chances of having 4 women in the same room who've all had the worst lives in history? Look, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the great, I'll never walk alone, I will survive, I will persevere, I'm my own person, blah, blah, blah kind of movies. Those can be really great. Really great. But this was kind of one of those movies, but it was 5 of those movies in one movie, and you're just like, no, they're killing me. It was bad. So if you're in the mood for I will survive, I will persevere, I will, push on, blah, blah, blah kind of movie, this is not the one for you. You'll just feel even more depressed. You'll be like, now I can't go on because there's terrible movies in the world like this. I did not just say that. Okay, guys, so what am I rating this one? 1.5 stars out of 5. Just because it's not bad enough to have 1 star out of 5, which is the lowest rating that I usually give, but because of the lovely cinematography, and because of, there was some okay performances given by the female leads, but many of them were just so lackluster. I'm sorry. The cinematography was great and the music was great, so I can't give it 1 star out of 5, but 1.5 stars out of 5 is about as good as I can do. And when I watch this one again, what do you think? Sorry, that was rude. No, I would not watch this film again, guys, because it goes on in age. You're like, this will never end. I will grow to be older than the old women in this story before this ends. I mean, let's be honest. It goes on forever. I mean, I was just like, like, whew. I mean, it was just like, I was like, twisting and, just fidgeting the whole movie. I'm like, where's my cell phone? Like, it's so boring, in my opinion. If you love the movie, yay! Tell me how much you love it and why you love it in the comments. But I did not love this one, guys, and this is my recommendation. Don't watch this movie. The only reason I watched it was because of the cinematographer. I'm trying to familiarize myself more with Thomas Newman. I like Dermot Mulroney in general. It had the guy from That Thing You Do, Winona Ryder, and Bancroft. I'm trying to familiarize myself with more work. So I thought, yes, some major names, we'll give it a go. Yes, so I can say I've seen that, been there, done that. Well, I've been there, done that, and I'm advising you don't been there, do that. No. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking out my review of the 1995 film How to Make an American Quilt. I'll see you guys later. Please subscribe.